South Carolina. So I am very excited to be here. I met Darkova on Facebook, so Facebook is good for something. And we met and our spirits connected, we inboxed and we shared our stories, and God has really, really been awesome. The reason I'm here is really to build confidence. And the reason why I say that is because in 2011, I remember sitting in the parking lot, crying my eyes out, and I'm very spiritual. I'm a pew baby, you know. I grew up in the church, and we didn't miss church unless it snowed, so it didn't snow that much in South Carolina. So I remember sitting in the parking lot, and I kept crying. I was going through, I don't know what it was. It was between emotional separation and actual marital separation, so I was crossed in between the limbo and everything. And I remember I was sitting there and I was crying. I said, God, what do you want? I can't take it. And I was expecting some biblical, scripture to come down like a tsunami and just sweep me on my feet and I'd be laid out in the parking lot. And he said, trust me. And I'm just like, but I am. He said, no, with everything. And for me, everything meant my confidence issues, my self-esteem, as well as trusting him with my life. And when I say that, it's because since age 4, I was diagnosed with alopecia, and alopecia is basically an autoimmune system deficiency that basically where the white blood cells attack your hair follicles and say, let's have a party and let's fall out. So I've been like that since age 4. And I remember wearing the wigs, and I always, jokingly now, I call Orientals my cousin because I feel that we had such a close relationship. Everything being made in Japan or China, So I always jokingly say that, oh, those my cousins. They'd be like, oh, okay. I'm just like, yeah, you don't know the relationship. But I remember always wearing, 1B or number 1 with the wigs and looking like a little China doll. And of course, I was lighter then, so I didn't like outside. And
still don't.
I still don't, yeah. Nevertheless, having alopecia at such a young age and growing up in the South, you already have the different stigma as it relates to your skin color, your hair texture, who your mama is, and all this other stuff. And it catapulted into my adulthood. So now you have this adult woman who is struggling with childlike issues. And sitting in the parking lot, I'm just like, okay, now you want me to go back how far? You want me to do what? And I never forget the first time that I actually came out on Facebook with the whole alopecia thing. I was like, okay. I'm like, well, if you want me to do this, you're going to have to give me some courage because it's going to be like, let's go. And every now and then I get like that, my heart be fluttering, my stomach be hurting. I'm just like, okay, God, let's go. You called me, so let's go. And even as a minister, I watched my ministry grow because of the confidence that God has embodied in me, and in my spirit, and in my wisdom. I watched my ministry grow by leaps and bounds. Last year, this time, I was contemplating on what wig I was wearing and, how much money I was going to budget because I used to go in the store and my minimum purchase would be $400 at the minimum because having alopecia, there's really no limit because you want your hair to look real. You don't want, anything too shiny, too fake looking. You want it to look natural. So me going in the store purchasing wigs, $300-400, and then she'll get me. She said, "Oh, we have a sale." I'm just like, "You are the devil." So I was always going through that. And when I actually stepped out on faith and trusted God to do what He asked me to do, which was post my pictures, start a support group for alopecia, I never knew the impact. Not just with women who had alopecia, but just women that was dealing with confidence issues, women that just needed to hear a positive word. Because again, like I said, so many women are embodied as an adult. They look grown, but they're still dealing with childlike issues that never got settled. They never had a chance to actually dig up the roots of the issues and say, okay, I'm going to sever this because this caused me too much pain, but I'm going to forgive because I need to move to this one and actually plant here. So now you have this season where I am actually grateful for because as I actually connect with women such as Darkova and as Keisha, and I hear women say, you know, you preach at this church, and you did this conference, and I was there, and you touched on this, and you touched on that, but I never saw it this way. I never looked at the scripture this way. And you can see their eyes, instead of having that dull, deaf look, because they are dying in their souls and their spirits, they actually now have life. So now they're actually able to tackle the issues instead of just putting makeup on it, because we're good at that as women. So now, here I am, all the way in Georgia, from South Carolina, and I'm proud to wear my head bald. Every now and then I get a little upset because the mosquitoes down there are big as grasshoppers. And, you know, my niece was laughing at me. I had calamine lotion on my hair. And, you know, every now and then I may wear a scarf or what have you when it get cold. But this has been the best years of my life. And as women, I just want to impart into you that sometimes we always ask God, why am I going through this? This is so hard. This is such a struggle. You know, I pay my tithes. I go to church. You know, I sow into the man and woman of God. I work in the community. I'm always giving and all this other stuff. Why? And I realized, as she said, it's not for us. We have been blessed, and I look at such struggles. I look at many of the struggles that we have to endure as blessings instead of tragedies. And the reason why I say that is because I realized that any point in time in my life, God is able to say, okay, that needs to stop. But if I'm praying for him to stop it, and he never did, but I'm also finding myself growing stronger, then that means that I am gaining something from him. It's just not what I want emotionally or in my flesh, but it's good for my spirit. So now here we are at the Strut 2013. And it has really been a blessing. I'm glad I'm connected with Darkova because she connected with me. And like she said, not that it's a slam against anything, but a lot of these women, I would have never probably crossed your path. Mm-hmm. And why? Because I would have been walking the streets of Atlanta, probably going to the underground with a mask on my face and self-confidence so low that you probably wouldn't even see anything. And we all would have just been passing each other, going about our daily lives, because our mind would have been somewhere, but our body would have been in a particular place. But today represents growth. And you have to learn as women, because we are nurturers. We have a womb. And whenever you have a wound, sometimes you get wounded in your womb. And those, I never had a child, but those who have children, we know that sometimes you have to go through certain surgical procedures to actually try to gain that connectivity back in your womb, because it may be too much stretching, maybe too much damage done. And that's how it is as women. If you are never connected back to the Creator who created you, you'll go around with a wounded womb. So now your insides have the tendency of falling out, being exposed, and trampled on because you never take care of your womb. But now we are here together as women. And not only just women, but confident women, women who are able to strut, and also women who are able to pull from each other. Not having an ego trip about nobody, not having a self-confidence issue, but we're able to pull from each other. And just like a link chain is, so are women. And we are powerful women. So I just want to express to you that I'm happy to be here, but I'm also excited because I know that even though it's a small beginning, maybe to some, this is so phenomenal. Because from here, we take seeds back to those we minister to, those we connect to, and we're able to say, you know what, I may not be able to help you, but let me contact Keisha. Let me inbox Darkova. You know, let me try Trinette. She doing something, you know, with the mentor. So now we are connected, not just for our own self-gain, but like she said, we are pouring back into, just by our presence, pouring back into each other. So I just want to congratulate you on such a wonderful catapult of this whole Strut thing. And it's going to be a good thing. So, and you definitely have to give a bigger place, no offense. But you definitely have to give a bigger place. Because once the word gets out, you're going to have small babies all over. So I definitely congratulate you early. And your team is here to help you. So you don't have to feel like you are by yourself. And, you know, so, and just live in the moment. And I realized that, again, like I said, our struggles, what we see our struggle is really God blessings. Because sometimes even with birthing a child, you never can really see the face of a child if you can't be in the womb all the time. So even with the pushing and the crying and the pain, there is still joy, there is still blessing at the end of all the trauma. So be connected with God, keep connection with God, but most of all, keep connection with yourself.